May Jesus be praised and onward with Mary. Good and many blessings to all of you, dear children, in the sacred hearts of Jesus and Mary, and in the most chaste heart of Saint Joseph. Welcome back to our morning column, Saints and Coffee. Today is Monday, the 11th of November. The Church celebrates the feast of the first non-martyr saint. The first non-martyr saint a country has made. What was the idea that saints were only those who died as martyrs? And instead, Saint Martin of Tours, bishop and confessor, is the first saint who does not die a martyr's death that the Church canonizes without dying a martyr. An important passage to say that holiness can be achieved through, as Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus would say, many other forms of martyrdom that are not just physical, that of blood. Saint Martin of Tours, there are various proverbs linked to this feast because it is an important celebration in the life of the Church. For example, it is said that on Saint Martin's Day, every must and wine, to indicate that the must which is placed in the barrels during the harvest in September becomes wine. This is one of the proverbs, but there are several others, such as Saint Martin, bell ringer, you ring, and so on. Indeed, Saint Martin has entered the collective consciousness of Western Christianity because this saint, who was not French but Hungarian, is a glory of the Hungarian people. However, he lived in France. He shared his cloak, a famous evangelical scene of evocation, and he shared his cloak with a poor man, and Jesus appears to him. That was not French, it was Hungarian. Is a glory of the Hungarian people. However, he lived in France. He shared his cloak, a famous evangelical scene of evangelical evocation. He shared his cloak with a poor man, and Jesus appears to him. Here, this is the emblematic historical scene of the soldier who deprives himself of his cloak, an act that involved various types of risks, especially that of degradation from the role one held. He sees that poor man, helps him, and then Jesus appears to him and thanks him for this act. Martino is then chosen as the Bishop of Tours, but he runs away, hiding in a henhouse, where the eyes begin to squawk because the faithful were running to look for him. The incredible tale of early saints, especially bishops, who fled. They did not want to, they were right. Today, in the office of readings, what is done in the tradition, I follow that of 1960. There was the text of St. Paul to Timothy, where he said that it is a good thing to aspire to the episcopate. But then it leads you, between the 3rd and 4th century, especially after the persecutions, it had become clear that becoming bishops was not such a wonderful thing, because it meant exposing oneself to many trials. Saint Martin of Tours becomes a bishop against his will. This would be very interesting if we applied it to our days. We should choose the true bishops, the true shepherds of the Church. The bishops should be those whom the people feel are their own. Pastors, not these bureaucrats who come from nowhere, priests, little priests, various monsignors, who pop up like mushrooms from the courtly undergrowth of the Pope, the bishops, etc., who are sometimes even placed in dioceses. An interesting discussion to have in dioceses, prestigious ones, and it creates a detachment, a greased one. It's shocking for the Church. Many parishioners don't know their bishop's name, let alone recognize them. So they are bishops barricaded in their prestigious seats. And I am not making this up because the proof of the pudding was, as I wrote a few days ago, the closure of the churches during the lockdown, a trauma. That has pushed, for example, as he recently said openly in a finally clear manner, Monsignor, Giovanni d'Ercole, Bishop of Ascoli Piceno, to leave, to go away, to resign as bishop, because he did not agree with the choice of the Italian Episcopal Conference to close the churches at a time of trial and difficulty for all the holy people of God. Saint Martin of Tours is the emblem, the model. It becomes the icon of the shepherd who gives his life for the sheep. While he was dying, think about it. He was almost at the death rattle, and he learns about the priests who are arguing among themselves in Cande. So he asks the Lord, He says like this, Lord, I am ready to come to you, but if you want, give me an incredible supplement to live for others. There is no greater joy than this, dear children. This is Christianity. Christianity is this, the joy of living for others and no longer for oneself, which then is a joy that if we all experienced it, would indeed push us towards this act. This pro-existence, as it is said in theology, the pro-existence of Jesus Christ, becomes the pro-existence of Martin and of all the saints in the church. And he says to the Lord, if you are ready to come, otherwise you give me more time, and I help once again my flock. The Lord grants him additional time to go and make peace among the priests of his church. Then finally he lies down to die, and they would like to place him on his side because evidently the illness that was leading him to death was causing him certain types of pain. And instead he says, place me with my face turned towards the sky, a bit like also seen that I am. I was in Cassino yesterday, at the foot of the abbey, where the mortal remains of Saint Benedict and Saint Scholastica are located, like Saint Benedict, who dies standing. I believe it is a rare case. While he feels that he is dying, he asks two monks to support him by the armpits, because he wants to die standing up. Here, this is beautiful. He wants to die with the physical posture of the risen one. It's lovely, this. And also Saint Martin, who was set aside, asks to be turned towards the sky, to look at the sky, because it is the goal he was striving for. The devil appears. This is also an interesting chapter. I have read the life of Saint Martin, written by one of his closest collaborators, and it is striking how the devil was always present in the life of this holy man to hinder him. A phone call from last night to the father said about Don Bosco and Father Pio, who had to struggle their whole life with the devil. Yes, it is so. These holy men had to exercise heroic patience throughout their lives to endure the struggle against the devil. Saint Martin of Tours, one could say many other things. It is also called the Summer of Saint Martin. Look, it's true, because I find myself, now I have to go towards the countryside, but today here where I am, it is a beautiful day. This morning it was freezing cold. That's fine. In fact, my nose is still a bit blocked, but however, now the sky is clear, there is a nice sun that brings a lovely warmth, and it really made me think of this thing that we perhaps have, especially down south in Sicily, that is, the roads of Saint Martin. It is said that nature gifts the last days, the last glimpses of summer of this sort of... I say this to you, for me this is not summer at all. My summers are 40 degrees in the shade. That is my summer. However, in fact, it seems that these proverbs have some truth, because today it almost seems like a final concession of something similar to the summer of Saint Martin of Tours. And so it reminds us that we can all be healed. And so today we begin a new day, a new week. First of all, we thank the Lord for those 3 days that we lived until yesterday, over the weekend, Friday in Ancona, Saturday in Abruzzo, and yesterday, especially yesterday, I would linger especially on the images from yesterday in Cassino. The hall was packed with people from all over Italy, obviously mostly from the central southern regions. And I would like to say something important. As I wrote yesterday in the post I commented on in the column The Father Responds, which you can find, if you wish, in the playlist of Radio Domina Nostra. And that is that there is a people. There is a Catholic people. This should be considered. There is a Catholic people that was present yesterday. They are not just people of a certain type, but there is a people, men and women, who were present. You know, if I say it and I make it up, it's true. Men, women, children, families, young people, the elderly. This is the people that responds, that wants to remain Catholic, does not want to yield to the blackmail of what is the false church of the false Pope Bergoglio. And this people moves forward. We thank the Madonna for these milestones. I am outside Sicily from Little Nazareth, Hail Mary. Since the month of September, since the end of September, there has not been a meeting that has not been intensely attended so far. A little less in Graz in Austria, for various reasons. But at the other meetings, people respond everywhere we go. People respond everywhere we go. Against the fact, as I always say, now let's remember the upcoming appointments. We are expecting another intense weekend in southern Italy with two emblematic places, two southern outposts of the Little Remnant, which are next Saturday, the 16th of November, in Naples. I appeal to the faithful of the small remnant of Campania not to miss this appointment, which costs us effort, energy, but what we will gladly do there will also be Father Enrico, in addition to Brother Celestino and me, next Saturday in Naples at 4:30 in the afternoon at the Wyndham Naples Hotel, via Galileo Ferraris 40, so near the station, if I remember correctly. Do not miss this appointment. Next Saturday, there will be the Rosary Confessions, the Holy Mass, and the consecration to the Madonna with a catechetical moment as well. And Sunday, the day after Sunday, the 17th of November, as you can see, we will be in Puglia again, in Puglia, where we started this apostolic tour in the month of September, on the 29th of September. I remember it well, the Feast of St. Michael. We were in Lecce, and on Sunday, the 17th of November, next Sunday instead, we will be in Bari, as you can see in Bari at the Majesty Hotel in Giovanni Gentile Street, 97B, always at 4:30 in the afternoon, always with the same program that you know. We are also preparing two international meetings, let's call them that. Last night was a broadcast with a cosmopolitan feel, I would say, because I showed images of the t-shirt that was given to me by a couple where he is Italian, she is Japanese, and they requested baptism and marriage. A piece of news that I received a little while ago, they also want to be married. How wonderful. While we were talking about Japan, therefore the land of the rising sun, the Far East, the phone call from Susanna in Argentina comes in, exactly from the other side. This makes us understand how there is a small remnant even internationally. All of this because we announced two appointments, at least two, which are the one in Charleville-Mézières, a meeting with the small remainder of the French language, and with the small remainder also from Belgium, at 3 o'clock on Sunday the 24th of November, at 3 o'clock in Charleville-Mézières, a meeting with the small remainder of the French language. I thank the collaborators, as I have said on other occasions, Raoul, Adalgisa, Sylvia, who are making a great effort because, as always happens, there is disgraceful, infamous, recent propaganda circulating of those who had invited us and who now instead invite others not to come to my meeting because I am in Italy. They present me as the priest full of hate who tells lies and falsehoods. Well, the Madonna always wins. So I thank those who are making a great effort to help me with this project regarding the meeting we will have in Charleville-Mézières on Sunday the 24th of November at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the other announced international meeting is the one in Zurich during the context of the Novena of the Immaculate Conception on Wednesday the 4th of December. It is an important meeting at 5:30 in the afternoon. There you see the post that has been prepared. There will be the Rosary, the Holy Mass, and then following a round table with Professor Lucia Brunoni, if it is necessary to bring the translator, probably not. In any case, it is an appeal addressed to the small remnant that is in Switzerland. There are several who are organizing. We have chosen Zurich because it is a bit rather central. It takes about 2 hours by train, also by car, from Lugano, therefore from the canton of Ticino, and equally from the German-speaking canton. So we tried to accommodate everyone in Zurich on Wednesday. Then there will be, as I mentioned after the Mass, this roundtable with Professor Luca Brunoni, which church after Benedict XVI. This is a theme that, as you can see, is proving to be very, very current. These are the upcoming appointments. However, you have from the introductory opening, we are preparing for the gathering, the prayer meeting, on the 8th of December in Milan, as Sago. We have suspended the booking system because there may be people calling to take advantage of us, so we are interrupting it. What we are is what we are. I just wanted to say that as they are organizing coaches from Emilia-Romagna, from Friuli Venezia Giulia, from Trentino Alto Adige, I believe also from Piedmont, from Tuscany. I wanted to announce that at least one, if not two, free coaches will depart from Rome for the faithful who cannot afford it, because it happens, the purchase of the train ticket for Milan. And so the bus will leave at 5:30 from Rome. Now we are checking whether from Rome Termini Central or from Rome Tiburtina. We will communicate it. You can already start from now. Indeed, we are already quite late. The registration system, call the regional contact person of Lazio, dear Ima. Call her to let her know if you want to register so we can see how many we are, because we need to do it in good time. So from today you can, dear Romans, register. It takes about 5 hours by coach from Rome to Milan. So we leave at 5:30. We arrive for 11 in the morning, 11:30. At the latest noon, if we consider some breaks, we will have a snack. At 2:30 the meeting begins. It ends at 6:30. Another 5 to 6 hours at most for the return. So late at night, around 1, at the latest 2 in the morning. Between Saturday and Sunday and Monday the 9th of December, the Romans return free of charge. You only need to pay for your sandwich with salami, the ham, or better with the ham. Those who understand better the ham than the salami. Or a chocolate ice cream, it's up to you. That one you pay for yourselves. That one you pay for yourselves. But if you want to come to the meeting in Milan, the Romans without paying, maybe if you are from Naples, etc., you want to organize yourselves, you can do it. I am also told that there is a coach from Abruzzo. All of this has a cost. So those of you who can help us, the international bank account number is in the description, which reminds you how much help is needed from all of you. Because in Little Nazareth, the work continues. We have set up the gazebos. Here is the international bank account number, and more easily you can help us with the postal current account. What can I say? Last night I showed the videos of the meetings to conclude this pastoral section. We showed the images of the meeting first of all in Cassino. I thank all the faithful who came. There was a person of 90 years who deeply moved me because she told me that she is 90 years old, Father. When you scream, my heart rejoices. She must scream even more. A person of 90 years, a short woman of 90 years, that struck me with her intense blue eyes. This is the moment when we welcome the Madonna. And you see how many people there are. It doesn't take us long at all. I was saying that I thank all the faithful who came, because a climate of great fraternity, joy, profound Eucharistic and Marian spirituality was created yesterday in Cassino. In a word, of Catholic spirituality, because that is what it is. Then, however, I showed Father Risponde the images last night, and the images of the posts I made on the Facebook profile of Radio Domina Nostra that came from Little Nazareth Ave Maria, which saw the Mass of Don Pavel, and you can see how many people there are. They contacted me to tell me that at the Mass celebrated in the morning by Don Pavel, there were also seminarians. There were really a lot of people. Look, this is a huge gazebo, and it was quite full. And the same happened with Don Ramon in Tuscany. He celebrated the Sunday Mass. These are the images from the back. You can see that the hall is full, and the same went for Don Iohannes, whom I remind you, Father Iohannes was in Sardinia from the 5th to the 10th of November until yesterday, hearing confessions and celebrating. I do not yet have the photos available, but perhaps something will come out of it. In any case, this is to tell you how the small remnant exists throughout Italy and continues despite the trials. Indeed, as I said last night to the Father, the trials only serve to strengthen us and help us. Well, I remind you of the appointments in Naples next Saturday and Sunday in Bari, and then we will take a quick look today, which is Monday, at the evening appointments of the week. Because I remind you that every day the schedule of Radio Domina Nostra includes a continuous moment of grace with the recitation of the 3 rosaries and the daily Mass in the morning at 8 o'clock. However, in the evening there are appointments that are the most interesting. This evening I return to the fortnightly column of Don Ramon. There he is, titled The Point of Don Ramon, at 9 o'clock on the YouTube channel of Radio Domina Nostra, where I invite you to subscribe. If you haven't done so, share, give likes. Tomorrow, then, the 12th of November, there is the program at 9 o'clock, always on the War Tuesday. We are finishing commenting on my book, The False Church and Its Destiny. Then we will begin the first volume of commentary on the Gospel of John. The title for tomorrow evening is The Great Trial of the Church. 2 points between Rome and Fatima. Tomorrow evening you will understand better. Then there's Biblical Wednesday, the 13th, Brother Celestino's at 9, and Thursday. As you know, the cycle of catechesis on the book of the Revelation of St. John continues. Just as on Saturday morning there is catechesis on the little great heroes of faith. Many of you do not know that the catechesis on the little great heroes of faith is currently held on Saturday mornings, so you might want to look it up if you missed it, because it is worth it. Last Saturday we talked about the Blessed, because he was beatified by John Paul II, Jamie or James Ortis. This young, 24-year-old, almost 24, Spanish Salesian cooperator, ucciso, martirizado, during the furious civil war in Spain, now 1936. We have defined him as the martyr of the miraculous medal because he was arrested and executed without trial for having hidden miraculous medals, those of the Madonna, in the clarinet because he was a clarinet player. There you will find him. So next Saturday there is also the other episode of the Little Great Heroes of Faith. Well, finally we are going to today's episode. How is the direction? Here are the images. The direction tells me that these are the images from the celebration yesterday of Father Johannes in Cagliari, I believe, or in Sassari anyway, in Sardinia. Here we go. I was telling you, my dear children, we thank Father Ioannis, and I would like to remind the dear faithful of Sardinia that Don Ramon will be in Sardinia to prepare for the Christmas celebrations from the 19th to the 22nd of December, while Father Pavel will then go to Trebassaleghe at the Tabor of Christ the King. From December 29th to January 7th for Christmas finale events. Let's move to today's episode. The episode of today is titled The Rosary, Company of Angels Against the Devil. We've done extensive rosary catechesis. I feel compelled to pray it with the faithful remnant on Radio Domina. So today, if not exceptionally, almost, if I mention the third rosary, I really feel the need for it at 6:30 in the evening. Live. I beg you, if you are free, to connect. There is a great need at this moment to face the battle with the crown of the rosary in hand, because there are wolves disguised as lambs who have come to sow confusion. Let us fight them, for they are also partisans of the saint. With the rosary in hand, I will be waiting for you at 6:30. There should have been a post put on Radio Domina that I would like the production to replay at 6:30. I would like to pray with you, together with you, for those of you who can, the third rosary at 6:30 in the evening. On YouTube. Perhaps you could share this as well. A moment of grace, there it is. However, it had been prepared precisely with my image, if I remember correctly, the third Holy Rosary. This is the official one, and I will not proceed if you do not see it first, because then people get confused if I go ahead. But it is not arriving yet. It is still not arriving. The team tells me it is coming. There it is arriving. A moment of patience. We always congratulate the poor director who has to do somersaults to keep up with Don Minutella, who has a particular pace. Here, today at 6:30 in the evening, Third Holy Rosary, a mystery of glory led by Don Minutella on the YouTube channel of Radio Domina Nostra. Pray. Yes, we're talking about the Rosary. The Rosary is our salvation. A von Balthasar booklet, The Rosary Saves the World. I would say, to make it relevant, von Balthasar could not even imagine what we are experiencing in our days, transliterating it by saying that the Rosary will save the Church. However, the Rosary, in the meantime, I wanted to tell you that the members of the Rosary Confraternity are 853. It is a number. Look, it's important. I mean, I can also say, now I leave, sir, that your servant may go in peace. I do not say it because it is not yet the time. But you cannot imagine how much for me, as a Marian priest, It is good to be affectionate towards the cultured Marian. I live for Mary. There is that song that I cannot listen to because there, yes, like the wonderful woman of Pompeii, you hear my voice, how it moves me to tears. I live for her. Do you remember it? For her, for that one there. And well, where is that song? So to know that I have given 150 euros, many of whom are also men who have joined the confraternity of the Most Holy Rosary, and who therefore commit to praying with a solemn promise the 3 rosaries every day. Look, I am talking about credible problems. To know that there are 853 faithful, several of whom are also men and several also young people as well as women, who commit to reciting the rosary every day, is for me, as a poor priest, a reason for comfort. Why is it? Because I know that the Madonna is happy. And not only is the Madonna happy, but when we pray the rosary in its entirety, life changes. The atmosphere's changed. So I would like to say 2 things today about the rosary in particular, because when I talk about it, I am always happy. It is one of my favorite themes, the Sermon on the Rosary. I'd like to state 3 points. The first, I will announce them, and then I will elaborate. I said 2, it's 3. Firstly, the rosary is the winning pastoral method. Remember these 3 steps. Secondly, the rosary is the solution to problems in life. Any kind of problems, as we will see. Third, I must be brief, because otherwise I cannot go into depth. Third, the aspect that I find most supernaturally effective is that the rosary brings the company of angels. I do not know if I will manage to conclude all 3 themes, but perhaps in these other days I will be able to continue talking about it. First of all, we said the rosary pastoral method 1. Pastoral method. Winning. The rosary is a winning pastoral method. What am I saying? I've experience with this. I must confess something unconfessable if the bishops are listening. Perhaps some bishops listening to me. I hope not those from Palermo, because I am about to say something shocking. I have fallen short of a, shall we say, doverosa attention, how to put it. Attention. The parish priest must implement the parish pastoral council. In parishes, this blessed structure exists. The priest presides with a vice president elected. God help us if it's a layperson, especially a woman. It's the end. Anyway, there's the VP and council members, who in remote parishes seem like the Ku Klux Klan. Imagine how they feel in tiny parishes where no one attends. Only mass-goers are members, meeting endlessly. As a vice priest, I had to join these never-ending councils. In the most remote parish of the Tuscan-Emilian region, since they are there, they look like members of the Ku Klux Klan. Who knows how all these people feel, who are part of the pastoral councils in little parishes where no one ever sets foot. The members of the pastoral council are exactly only those who go to Mass. They gather and never finish. Endless meetings in which, I know because as an assistant priest I was forced to participate in these endless pastoral councils, because it was necessary to decide what to do within the space of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, half a year, 5 years, 6 years. They never managed to hold these parish pastoral councils. Decide what to do in the space of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, half a year, 5th year, 6th year. These parish pastoral councils could never be accomplished. I was rather bored to death. I couldn't take it anymore. Told the priest I paid. I was his assistant. I'm not going to tell you how. I said, listen, Father, I collaborate with you, but please, in my opinion, you are exaggerating, because you do not pray the rosary. I never see you in church praying, yet you waste a lot of time. It is not possible that these meetings of the parish pastoral council, which are supposed to solve parish problems to bring people to church, start at 9 in the evening and do not finish before 1 in the morning. But it's not possible. I was telling him, look, this thing here is not possible, and believe me, I am not lying at all, and it wasn't just the experience I was having. So when I became a parish priest, I did something that I must confess. I have never gathered the parish pastoral council. At this point, it cannot get any worse than how I am. I have never gathered a parish pastoral council. I did something else. I immediately went where there are the faithful who can testify in the parishes that were assigned to me. This is what I did. This was my parish pastoral advice. I understood that it was not necessary to waste time in chatter, because all this stuff has transformed the church into a talking shop, into a sort of useless gossip that even God gets angry about, because we are there wasting time unnecessarily. Instead, one must stay with the knees down, if possible, a little on one's knees, anyway, a little seated, in front of the tabernacle reciting the rosaries. I did this, and then when the bishops called me, look, I'm not doing honor to myself, I'm doing honor to Rosario, and God knows if I am sincere in what I'm telling you. And then the bishops, however, would call me and say, look, I don't see anything, because news was reaching them. But how is it that you have the church so full on weekdays? But how is it possible that 100 people, 150 people come to Mass every day on weekdays, not to mention Sunday? And they were telling me, on top of that, you are also long. We hear news that your Sunday Mass, which starts at 11, ends at 1:45 at 1 o'clock. How do you get so many people? I, since the Gospel says, do not cast pearls before swine, have never said the Rosary, because otherwise these Masonic bishops, these bishops who are part of a sect of the false church, would have mocked me. I tell you this, I was praying the Rosary and graces poured down. Then there are those who, over time, since the journey is not easy, abandon you, betray you, and leave. So what? But you have sown the seed. Many don't want to hear of Don Dama Nutella, yet they carry him within. They carry it within for life, because if they pray the Rosary, if they consecrate themselves to the Madonna, if they have understood the importance of the primacy of prayer, they owe it to Domina. I also speak of young seminarians who have become priests, and someone is there walking, ignoring that Don Minutella is making an alliance with the same Judas who betrayed him. They are forming Jewish circles against Don Minutella. But what is there? That Don Minutella is within them, and within them, as a pastoral impression, having understood the importance of prayer, of stopping in front of the tabernacle. Therefore, the Rosary is the winning pastoral method, this from a general point of view. If we were to start praying the Rosary in the parishes, dear children, you would see what would happen. If the Rosary were to become the most important appointment, not only in the parishes, but also in the life of the convents, of the monks. I must tell you, for example, one unconfessable thing this as well. Once when I was a confessor at a cloistered monastery, I was truly, I would say, almost scandalized when the prioress, the abbess, told me that not everyone had the time, the cloistered nuns, to pray a rosary each day. I was scandalized by this, so much so that in the foundation of the Company of Mary, which the Madonna inspired me to create, the little sisters that you know, in fact, someone asked me why they wear the gray habit. They changed the habit. No, those who travel with me, for practical reasons, wear the habit in a darker color. Those who are down in Sicily continue to keep it white. But I told them, be careful, here it is a matter of praying. And they cook for the seminarians, for the priests. They have kept the structure of Little Nazareth alive. They do a lot of things because they are an active reality. They are not contemplative. However, the rosaries must not be lacking during the day. The practices of piety, because those bring breath to the life of the church. Sister Lucia of Fatima had said, there is no personal, family, national, international, or global problem that cannot be resolved with the recitation of the Holy Rosary. And we must keep this in mind. Prayer can change the world. And who knows what is brewing? Because yesterday the news circulated, very early this morning, that Donald Trump announced, in his somewhat colorful way of speaking, that he will fight the deep state in 10 points. Look, this isn't minor news. Here is the story. We are witnessing history, assuming it is not an overall bluff, as some believe. I will stick to the data. Anyway, he said that he will fight the deep state in 10 steps. This can be the result of prayer. The rosary changes the history of the world. And indeed, I am sure that the false church of Bergoglio, because it is false, as the prophecies say, will be defeated by the recitation of the rosary. That's why today I want to return to pray the rosary with you. I want to always give the sign that Don Minutella exists, because the rosary exists, sweet chain that binds us to God. We, says Blessed Bartolo Longo, will never leave you again. You will be with us. Comfort in the hour of death. Yes, because if we face life with the crown in hand, then we have nothing to fear. I remember when St. Dominic Savio appeared to Don Bosco, and in response to the question of what consoled him the most at the point of death, he replied that it was the devotion to the Holy Virgin. So a winning pastoral method. If we return to praying the rosary in the parishes will be full of faithful again, solving the whole problem of its time. The second step is that the rosary is the true solution to the problems of life. When a disease arrives, an economic crash, a sentimental betrayal, an unexpected situation, because the trials are more often than not unexpected, one begins to search for the solution here, the solution there. Look, with the rosary, a miracle happens, because the solution is given to you from above. There is not much to add, because it is about gaining experience. How many times have I had to, as you know, make solemn decisions on this journey that has officially lasted for almost 7 years, but it has been 8, if not even more. How many times have I found myself at a crossroads and had to wait when I was asked, Father, and those hours end up deciding what has been decided? I'm talking about the sisters of the team that accompanies me, even with the priests when I had to make a decision. I told them to give me some time. When I say give me some time, my neighbors already know it. They no longer exist. But Father, it is almost time. Give me some time. I take refuge here in this crown, you understand? And I begin to recite the Hail Marys. But what does it do? It is a miracle. It is a continuous miracle, because the answer, the solution, the light comes to you from God. God, yes, I would almost say, if it were not misunderstood, bows before those who pray the rosary. His favorites are those who pray the rosary. God's favorites are those who pray the rosary. Whoever prays the rosary is privileged. So when you then have to solve a problem, peace comes to you. First of all, this agitation, anxiety does not come to you. You have peace, and then above all, you have the solution. You have it inside, and you bring it out with the sequence of Hail Marys. One last thing I would like to discuss about the Holy Rosary, perhaps I will return to these 3 steps later, concerns the angelic company. Dear children, these times we are living in, as we can see very well, are times in which Satan is unleashed, and the demons, as Father Pio had announced, are all on earth. The demons are all on earth. So we need to be patient. I travel Italy and see it myself. Italy's worldwide. And that is to say, we are faced with an invasion of demonic spirits. People are unwell, children are screaming, they are hyperactive and calm, they never stay still, most families are falling apart. Priests are leaving the cloth or remain in crisis, very where there is disorientation, confusion on the horizon. There is always the risk of a nuclear war. The global geopolitical system is not well understood. Now which direction it is taking, because it is interesting to say Putin is in Moscow, and now Trump is in Washington. What will happen to the New World Order? Is it perhaps by chance that Putin, in the face of the awareness that he and his entourage had, that Trump would win, is it by chance that he spoke of the fight against the New World Order? Do you think it is by chance that Putin speaks of the fight against the New World Order in Moscow, and Trump says that he will win against the deep state in 10 steps? I do not believe it is a coincidence. The global situation is like a pot that wants, when you forget the water that you need to put down for the pasta, you forget it, and that pot goes like this. It moves all over. The lid, because the pressure pushes. This seems to be the global geopolitical state. The only way to approach the Holy Rosary, Sister Lucia said, is when we pray the Rosary. A mystical thing happens. Always, always, trust me, the angels always arrive. We already have the constant presence of angels because we have the guardian angel, as the Church teaches us. However, with the Holy Rosary, with the sequence of Hail Marys, the angels reach us like butterflies. The angels come around us. Hail Mary, Hail Mary, it is the angelic greeting. Hail Mary, Hail Mary. You say it 50 times in total every day, 150 times to pray the 3 rosaries, and wherever we are reached by the angels. Don't you think that is a wonderful thing? The Rosary devotees have the company of the holy angels, and everything changes. Those who have truly discovered the importance of the daily rosary, and much more of the entire crown of the 3 daily rosaries, have found that life has taken on an unexpected new horizon. It is all given, it is all offered. One no longer needs to worry about anything. One feels in the heart the peace in the face of any good thing. One feels safe. Yes, the Ark of Noah. As Jesus said to the Blessed Alessandrina da Costa, the Immaculate Heart of Mary, because the Rosary devotees are kept in this time of deluge of sin, of deluge of iniquity, of deluge of moral perversion, doctrinal, and so on, kept in the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So, during the recitation of the Rosary, it does not matter if we are sitting or kneeling, or, as often happens to me, walking, or even one can pray the Rosary because many housewives have asked me about it. But I can pray the Rosary while doing the dishes, while ironing, while I wipe the cloth, of course. Yes, you put on your headphones so as not to disturb, if there is still someone who perhaps does not want to hear stories, and so you do not bother anyone. Or you keep it at a low volume and you pray the Rosary. Much better if you pray it with Benedict XVI. Here's the Rosary. It is the company of angels. Because when the angels arrive, I assure you, trust me, dear children, I have been called to this as well, I would say. If you care for me, you must always say, above all, to renew the love for the Holy Rosary. And when you tell me this around Italy, I go into ecstasy, because that is what, frankly, I take to heart. That is, having rekindled the love for the Holy Rosary, because I feel that it is my mission above all, and those who experience it should know this. When you pray the Rosary alone or in company, you are reached by who knows how many angels, many, this is certain, that drive away the demons wherever you are. It's like when you spray DDT, or light a lemon-scented candle, which keeps the mosquitoes away. You know that in the past, wolves would come into inhabited villages and were often driven away with fire. Fire drives away wolves. There, the Rosary, the sequence of Hail Marys, drives away demons. And so, the Rosary is the company of angels. We do not see them, but we can feel their presence. And when we finish the Rosary, tell me if I am wrong, every time anyone prays it, man or woman, rich or poor, aristocrat or commoner, young or old, child, etc., when you have finished praying the Rosary, you have a new breath, a new horizon has opened up. In a word, every time the Rosary is a rebirth in life. The devil knows this very well, which is why the censorship campaign, starting from the 1970s, aimed to eliminate the Rosary, and they were almost succeeding. Fortunately, the Madonna appeared at Fatima, presenting herself as the Queen of the Rosary, and attributing to the Rosary immense power. And then also in Medjugorje, the Madonna asked to pray the 3 rosaries every day in the early years. And the parish was reborn precisely because they gathered there to pray the Holy Rosary, the first faithful. Then Italians began to arrive, and this miracle occurred because, as I said and conclude, the Rosary achieves these 3 things. It is a winning pastoral method. Reborn. Where the Rosary holds primacy, faith is reborn. Wherever the Holy Rosary is prayed, the blessing of God arrives, in the family, in the convent, in the monastery, in the sanctuary, in the parish, in the home. Then, when you pray the rosary, in the second moment, you find the solution to your problems. God sends you light, also from the point of view of choices, not only of a concrete type, but also doctrinal, to resolve many spiritual issues, and so on. God gives you light, God visits you with bright lights when you are praying the rosary. Thirdly, the rosary receives the company of angels. When we pray the Holy Rosary, the angels come, in addition to our guardian who is always with us. Others come. They are the angels of the Rosary, the angels of the Hail Mary, and the demons flee away. Let's keep it with us. Father Pio always held the rosary in his hand. I do it too. You all must do it. You are in the office. You work in the office. Place the rosary on the desk. You are teachers. You bring the crown and place it on the desk. You are workers. You put on the decade while you are hammering. I don't know what. You are drivers, so put on the rosary around the arm while you drive the bus. And so you are protected, because if the angels come, they protect us from road accidents. Understood? This is certain. The angels protect us, sent by the Madonna, by the will of God. The angels of the Hail Mary, the angels of the Marian angelic court, come to protect us from evils. They come to guard us from accidents, because every day anything can happen to us. But those who have the rosary in their hands, the Madonna to me played, it was said once a beautiful thing, always keep the rosary beads in your hands as a sign to Satan that you belong to me. So my dear children, this afternoon at 6:30, I hope we can pray the rosary together soon. It's been a while, and I miss it. We could use Radio Domina for those who can't attend in person, because many people come to the meetings, but it's not. All the little rest is just a part, because many cannot. So we will pray together. Look at these very beautiful images. This is my right. We will pray together at this hour, this moment when the Madonna enters. Yesterday was a moment of grace at 6:30 in the evening, and then that personal one. Never leave it out. Do it like this in the morning. Pray the first one, then during the day the second, and before going to bed the third. Turn off the television, which offers nothing at all. Turn off the social media, which many times it is useless chatter, and pray the Holy Rosary, perhaps in union with Pope Benedict XVI, which is always something that gives us grace. Well, my dear ones, I remind you of the appointments next Saturday, the 16th of November in Naples, at the Wyndham Naples Hotel, at 4:30 in the afternoon. In Galileo Ferrari Street, with the little Neapolitan and Campanian remainder. And on Sunday, the 17th of November in Bari, at the Majesty, I believe it is called that, Majesty Hotel, in Giovanni Gentile Street. These are important appointments coming up. And then, of course, I remember the appointment on Sunday, the 8th of December, in Milan for the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, as I have already said. The Romans, if they wish, can start booking for the free coach that goes from Rome to Milan for meetings from Milan to Rome.